Murad and his forces guided the heroes to the shores of Shadowmoon, whereupon they found the alternate prophet Velen waiting for them. Velen had foreseen this, but his visions were having difficulty, given the temporal shenanigans ensuing. He nonetheless welcomed the Azeroth refugees with open arms, and guided them towards Lunarfall Plateau, gifting it to them in their time of need. In short order, they realized they would need a central leader of the troop. Several suggested Khadgar, but he had other obligations. No, it was determined that the Alliance-bound heroes would be best suited, and as such were dubbed commanders of the expedition. As for Khadgar, well, Khadgar was one of the preeminent archmages of Azeroth, one-time personal apprentice of Medivh, veteran of the First and Second Wars, a long-term thinker and a good planner, and probably the most knowledgeable and skilled portalmancer in the world. These talents proved invaluable now. Prior to departing, Khadgar had coordinated with forces of both Horde and Alliance, and prepped materials, equipment, and personnel, who were standing by for his signal. While it took tremendous effort and power, and he could only do so briefly, Khadgar was able to open a portal back to Azeroth. In this way they could slowly, but surely, reinforce and resupply. The commanders used this well as they coordinated construction of Lunarfall Garrison, as well as issuing orders to reach out to the neighboring locals, knowing from long experience that local troubles were surely brewing. The commanders proved good at their jobs, recruiting and assigning surviving champions in their stead to deal with the more day-to-day and lower-tier difficulties, while retaining themselves for more serious or severe problems, such as first contact with the alternate Draenei. The commanders split into two groups. Some were sent with Yrel, but others journeyed to Elidor, a major city in the region, to secure aid and badly needed resources. Escorting the caravan alongside one of the Exarchs, the troop quickly found Elidor under attack by Shadowmoon Orcs, seeking fresh captives for sacrifices. The commanders were able to assist the Exarchs with local issues, earning their trust via proven action. And in so doing, Maladar, the Exarch they had rescued in Tanan Jungle, took them into confidence as he had detected trace amounts of fel nearby. While investigating, one of the Exarchs was found dead, with a fel dagger in his back. The Exarch Council immediately descended into suspicion and accusation, leading to Soulbinder Niami performing a ritual to reach out to his soul and learn the truth. A ritual Niami cut off abruptly for some reason. Leery, Maladar gifted a device to expose fel energy to the commanders, who used it in turn around several present, finally returning a reaction with the one known as Othar. Othar revealed his true name, Sokrathar, but was challenged and killed by Maladar, the Lady Liadrin, and the commanders. Meanwhile, escorting Yrel back to Mbari village, the other commanders quickly found it under siege by Shadowmoon Orcs. They assisted the Draenei and came into contact with the Shadowmoon warlord, alternate Ner'zhul. Ner'zhul captured Yrel's sister and fled toward Shazgul with her in tow. Yrel was rather suddenly forced into a command position, as none of the Draenei present had any real experience in fighting the Iron Horde, and so deferred to her. This led to several deaths, and Yrel wasn't certain if she was capable or competent enough to accomplish this goal, though she was bolstered by the friendship of the commanders. Ner'zhul, for his part, was driven with almost reckless abandon, hastily sacrificing souls and tapping unproven magics. This was a consequence of the recruitment policies of the Iron Horde. You see, Grom and Garrosh would not simply allow any clan to join, but those seeking had to prove themselves worthy of the task, strengthening the Iron Horde in the process. And of course, any clan that did not join was to be completely destroyed, in order to encourage others to try and enlist. Ner'zhul and his Shadowmoon Orcs were mystics and shamans, who sought visions and communion with the elements. They had no military might to speak of, no great skill to add to the Iron Tide. Thus did Ner'zhul seek knowledge and power best left untouched, the grotesque powers of the Dark Star. With the void energy they ripped forth, they sought to empower themselves. And it must be emphasized how terrible of an idea this is. Oh, don't mistake me, void energy can be used by the careful and the cautious to good effect, although even then it is a constant danger to the practitioner. These peaceful shamans had no experience with such terrors. Utterly consumed by the depthless powers of the void, Ner'zhul was successful in summoning the Dark Star. Velen, realizing the significance of this, transferred his sigil to the young Yrel. before channeling all his life's energy into the Dark Star, accelerating its cycle and rebirthing it as the Naru Ka'ada. The Iron Horde was already assaulting Karabor Temple, but with this the tide shifted immediately. Ka'ada, rather than empowering the Iron Tide, instead bolstered the defending Draenei, whom were further supported by commanders and their champion reinforcements. The fighting was bloody, but the defenders were victorious. The Iron Horde faced its second defeat in a matter of days. As the Iron survivors fled the battlefield and the Draenei pieced together their lives, there was one last loose end that needed to be tied up. While Ka'ada was renewed, those Shadowmoon lost to the Void still babbled and roamed their ancestral burial grounds, surrounded by fragments of the deep. Sedana Bloodfury had been a seer of lunar cycles before being tasked with the Darkstar's taming, and now used her knowledge to direct the dead. Nahalish was a Void Revenant, a combination of Void energies infused with the spirits of the deceased, hungering for the life it lacks. Bone Maw was a carrion worm that feasted upon the results of Shadowmoon's failed rituals, serving as a guardian for Ner'zhul's inner sanctum, wherein the lost shaman had ripped the barriers between realms, sending him and his pursuers down into the depths. With the destruction of Ner'zhul, the final twisted Shadowmoon was felled, severing the link to the Void and stabilizing the land. With Void abolished, invasion by Legion and Iron stopped, the Alliance commanders quickly journeyed forth into the piercing spires of Iraq.